I still remember the day I signed the papers, my hand trembling, my throat dry. The pen felt heavy, almost too heavy for what it symbolized. A promise, a declaration that I wasn't just a man who married a woman with a child. I was a father now, his father. But what I didn't know then was that I was also signing something else that day, a quiet surrender of trust, a faith I would later learn was misplaced. When I met Emily, she was a single mother to a little boy named Noah. He was 3, tiny, shy, and clinging to her leg when I first saw him in the grocery store aisle where she worked. I was buying flowers for my mother's birthday. She smiled when she rang them up, and Noah peeked out from behind her apron with eyes too big for his face. 2 years later, we were married. I loved that kid like he was my own blood. He called me Dad before he even called her Mom again after the divorce she'd escaped. I'd read him bedtime stories, pack his lunch, fix his Lego castles when they collapsed. And in return, he'd curl up on my chest and fall asleep to the sound of my heartbeat. 4 years. We were everything I thought a family should be, until I realized we weren't. It started with whispers, small changes I couldn't quite name. Emily began working late. At first, I believed her, because that's what you do when you love someone. You believe, but belief is a way of blinding you. She started locking her phone, taking it into the bathroom, smiling at messages she wouldn't explain. The woman who used to tell me everything suddenly had a secret language. I convinced myself I was paranoid, that I was the problem. Then one night, while she was in the shower, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. Just once. A simple message from a contact saved only as R. It said, "He's getting too attached. You need to tell him." For a full minute, I couldn't move. My hands went numb. Too attached? Was that about me? About Noah? About us? When she came out of the bathroom, towel wrapped around her, I didn't say anything. I just looked at her, trying to read the truth in her eyes. She smiled, kissed my cheek, said she loved me, and I almost believed her. Almost. I didn't confront her right away. I watched, listened, waited. For weeks, I noticed things I'd ignored before. The way her tone changed when she talked to R, the way she'd dress up for work meetings, the way she'd hug me but keep her eyes open over my shoulder. It broke me slowly, like water dripping onto stone. The night I finally learned the truth, I wasn't even looking for it. I'd gone to pick up Noah's drawings from her car. He'd left them after school, and when I opened the glove compartment, a stack of papers spilled out. One of them was a birth certificate. Noah's. Father's name, Ryan Mitchell. My chest caved in. I knew that name. It was the same R who'd been texting her. The man she'd once called her mistake from before she met me. I stood there in the driveway, that paper fluttering in my hand, and felt something inside me die. All those years, the bedtime stories, the scraped knees, the first day of school, I thought I was Dad. But I was just a placeholder. A convenient, safe man who loved too deeply for his own good. When she came out and saw me holding it, she froze. "Where did you get that?" she whispered. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just said, "How long?" Her lips trembled. Ryan came back when we started having problems. He wanted to see Noah. I didn't know how to tell you. I nodded. My voice came out quieter than I expected. You didn't want to tell me. Not that you didn't know how. The weeks after that were a blur of silence and lawyers and too many sleepless nights. I didn't fight her for the house or the car. I didn't even ask about Ryan. But I did fight for Noah. Because even if I wasn't his biological father, I was the one who'd been there. The one who stayed. The one who taught him how to tie his shoes and say sorry when he hurt someone. When I told Emily I wanted to adopt him legally, even after everything, she looked at me like I was insane. "You still want to be his dad?" she asked, tears in her eyes. I just nodded. He deserves stability, not adults who make him pay for their mistakes. And maybe, deep down, I needed to prove to myself that love doesn't disappear just because trust does. The day of the adoption hearing, Noah wore the little blue tie I'd bought him for his first school recital. He held my hand the whole time, swinging it nervously. The judge asked him if he wanted me to be his father forever. He looked at me, then at Emily, then back at me. He said, "He already is." I broke down right there in the courtroom. Not because I'd won anything, but because, despite everything, he still saw me as a man who showed up, the man who stayed. It's been 3 years since then. Emily married Ryan, and they moved 2 towns over. Noah still visits every other weekend. He calls me Dad and Ryan, and though part of me used to ache at that, I've learned something important. Blood might make a child, but love makes a father. Last summer, he made me a Father's Day card. It was clumsy and crooked, with glue marks and glitter everywhere. Inside, he wrote, "You're not my real dad. You're better." I didn't know a 10-year-old could shatter and heal your heart in the same sentence. Sometimes I still wonder what would have happened if I hadn't opened that glove compartment, if I just kept believing the lies. But then I look at Noah, this bright, kind, brave kid who still runs into my arms every time he sees me, and I realize something. Maybe betrayal isn't the end of love. Maybe it's just a fire that burns away everything false, leaving behind only what's real. And what's real is this. I may have lost my wife, but I gained a son, and that I'll never regret.